Hello, and welcome to RollBound. My name is Chas, and I am the DM for this wonderful group. We're going to go down the list and everyone introduce themselves, starting off with Groove. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Groove, and I am bound to the role of Chronoharist Mobius.
Alrighty, and Allie.
Hello, I am Ali. I am bound to the role of Charybdis Mobius.
Alrighty, Minnow.
Hello, my name is Minnow. I am bound to the role of Lady Reverie.
Awesome. Mickey.
Hi, I'm Mickey, and I'm bound to the role of Maria.
And last but never least, Joey.
My name is Joey, and I am bound to the role of Winfrey McNeil.
Trixie's sort of like looking between everyone, her ears are like folding back, and she's like backing away, like a little frightened.
Now here's the thing. Clearly, whatever is going on here, Lady Reverie has her hands up at this point, but is also moving between Chronoharist and Trixie. If there's a bit of tension. She has a smile on her face still and says, clearly what's going on here is that there's been a bit of a miscommunication. Obviously, Trixie was meant to find at least some of us when we got to the other side, so I think that doing anything rash here is not going to go well. I think that the most important thing is that we make sure she gets off on the other side, so we can talk about it then. Okay?
There's a lot of better places to be talking about this. Cargo bay of a ship headed for exactly where she's trying to go is not one of them.
No, this is the best location to talk about this. If anyone else were here, I wouldn't be speaking at all.
And again, like I said, I don't know what it is you're running from, and I don't really care. I like you a ton. You seem great. All I need is just a little money up front, and then I will pay you back within 2 months.
My lady can reimburse if anything happens.
See? Even better.
I just need to get to the...
She's like fiddling with her dress now nervously, like kind of twirling it between her fingers and lifting it up a little. Not in like a weird way, just like she's nervous, so she's fiddling with it.
I think at this point, not taking an eye off of Winfrey. How much did Reverie say? 75 gold pieces?
Yeah.
Charybdis just says, done! And then just tosses Reverie a sack of gold.
Great. Catches it. Probably goes to catch it, but she goes to catch it with her right arm, which is the prosthetic, and just, fucking volleyball spikes it into the ground instead. Bends down to pick it up awkwardly. Stands back up and says, great. I promise you're not going to regret this.
Bodyguard,
Now, let's just wait.
your liege
Yes.
commands you to get out of my way.
No.
Chronoharist turns back to Charybdis. Terrible investment.
Quiet, brother.
Trust me. It'll be great.
I do not trust you at all.
That's
I'm
okay. You don't need
actually
to.
quite the opposite, because a little girl who I don't know, who is sitting in the bottom of a ship, previously in a crate, is saying that she knows me personally, and that apparently we are intertwined in some way. So I would like some sort of explanation very soon, or I think we're going to have an issue.
I think that's reasonable, and I turn back to Trixie.
Again, my lady, I don't quite know what her quest is. I was just hired to help her, but she got a hold of a single use of the spell wish and just simply wished for the knowledge of people that could help her. And all that I know is that all of you...
And she like uses her little kind of claw. She has like a regular human hand, by the way, since I noted that she has tiger feet. But she has hands with like very long, kind of thick nails. So she points like a clawed finger at every single one of you, everyone in the room, and goes,
All I know is that the vision that was revealed to her showed every single one of you. Everyone in this room. I don't know how, considering it seems none of you really know each other. That's just what we saw. And we saw that you were on a boat, so we assumed that it was, this cruise liner. And she was supposed to give me money so that I could get on the boat and see if I could find you, and I ended up down here, hiding.
Sounds to me
Earlier...
Like
Oh, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Sounds to me like you may have been tampering with magics that you don't understand.
I didn't do it.
You both collectively. Either way. At this point, Charybdis goes into a more relaxed position. I think, brother, at the very least, we can hold until the captain returns.
Chrono Harris almost seemed like he was readying some kind of spell, but hearing that, he lowers it and, unwavering, says, "Very well, sister."
I think at this point, we're in a bit too deep now. It's best to just see how things play out, and if nothing else, we can always talk about it later over a nice dish of pumpkin pie.
Agree and disagree. I have no interest in whatever vision your lady wasted a wish on, nor her financial illiteracy. Personally, I'd like to get this semi-resolved and get off of this boat and make sure I see none of you ever again, excluding, of course, and back to his sister.
Alright, Trixie. If things are meant to happen, they're meant to happen. Here, I need you to, she says, I need you to hold on to something for me, okay?
Okay.
I hand her my ticket. Just hold on to that for now, okay?
Alright.
Thanks. And then I will, I'll sit down and I will wait for the captain.
Yeah, after about 3 minutes of almost complete silence, unless someone says something, you eventually hear footfalls coming down the hallway. And then you hear "Oh, sir!" And then you hear, "Yes, yes, out of the way." And the door opens, and the captain walks in. And Trixie just goes, and hides behind the crate. Almost by instinct, she just...
Can I just rewind just a little bit?
Yeah.
Because there is something I want to do before the captain shows up.
What's up?
Charybdis is going to, once again, just kind of pull her staff closer to her and then just kind of hide her mouth, but whisper into it. Casting message to Chrono Harris, she says, "There's definitely something at play here. We found this girl almost immediately, whereas a trained crew could not. Something may be intervening. We shouldn't mess with things until we know whose hand is at the table."
Chrono Harris, has not moved. He's still just looking from Trixie to Reverie, and you get no response.
Yeah, that was all I had.
Yeah, so you hear the footfalls and the captain, kind of usher away the guard and walk in. And he walks in the room and goes... He looks at Charybdis because he just sees her first and goes, "My lady. So, the lot of you found the Stowaway. Alright. Bring them out."
Sure. Trixie, you want to come with me?
Eh.
I'll reach down and I'll hold out a hand for her to take. And I will walk with her if she takes it.
She, nimbly reaches out and grabs your hand and stands up from behind the crate.
Talk at this point is kind of wrapped itself like a metal scarf half around her neck.
And she peeks out from behind Reverie and looks up at the captain, and he goes, "A woman?"
Well, there's actually a bit of a misunderstanding. So, first of all, just to be 100% clear, we're being paid 100 gold for this, correct? Each of us is getting 100 gold?
Yes.
Perfect, okay. So in that case, what I would like to do is clear up some of the confusion. You see, my friend Trixie here actually has a ticket. It turns out actually I was the one that was stowing away, and I will pull out the 2 pouches, which has my remaining 50 gold, the 75 gold that was given to me by Charybdis, and I'll say, "I'll buy a ticket, and you can take the rest of it out of that 100 you owe me, okay?"
He, raised a brow and went, "If she was not the stowaway, and why was she down here stealing supplies?"
That was also me. I'm very weird.
That we can agree on.
He, like, looks to Winfrey and looks to everyone else and goes, I could investigate this further, but you did what I asked, so I do not care. He
Toss the ticket and 50% on top.
He looks to Trixie and then, like, sort of, like, just snorts and then looks to Reverie and goes, all right. He takes out, like, few, like, individual coin sacks and, like, tosses one to Maria, tosses one to Winfrey, hands Reverie hers, and then looks at the twins and goes, since you helped, I can arrange payment, however, I was not expecting you to, he, like, looks between Colonel Harris and Charybdis, to help on this front.
Nor was I.
Nor was I.
Well then.
Yes. Please.
I would ask it that you all please exit the storage room and enjoy the rest of your trip.
Well, you don't have to tell me twice. Charybdis walks past him and goes upstairs.
Oh, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
No, I said out.
Okay. I'll look down at Trixie, still holding her hand, and say, see? Told you, it's just a big misunderstanding. And I will deposit the 225 gold with the captain and leave the storage unit.
And, Trixie will follow. Do, Maria and Winfrey exit as well?
Before we do, I'm going to look over at Maria and I'm going to ask, so, where'd you lift that note from?
What?
Well, last time I checked, that note was in Reverie's pocket, but, you were the one that handed it off. She couldn't seem to find it now, could she?
Oh, I mean, she said what she did. She dropped it. I saw it on the ground and I picked it up.
Do I believe her?
Make an insight check.
I'm assuming Maria's
18.
rolling deception.
Yeah, Maria, are you rolling deception, or are you just gonna see how the roll goes?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
I got an 18.
I got a 14.
Winfrey, you don't remember seeing Maria lean down and pick anything up. She was standing upright, so you're like, yep, that's, she totally grabbed it off of Reverie.
I'm not going to make any accusations, but, and for the first time this entire trip, you see Winfrey smile and she says, keep up the good work there, lass. And she's gonna walk away.
Maria's just gonna snicker at that and then follow.
As y'all are sort of making your way down the hallway, Trixie is, like, looking at her feet. And she's just, like, kind of, like, forlorn and, like, sighing a little bit.
Do you drink scotch, Trixie?
Oh, me? No, I don't drink.
That's a shame. It's literally the only thing I have in my person now. Let's see if we can go find a buffet.
Yeah, I promise.
You don't
I'll
have to
have
eat
my
moldy
lady
apples.
Compensate you. I feel awful.
Charybdis.
It's okay. I know you will. You seem like a great person, and I'm happy to know you. And this is going to be an even better day than I thought it was.
Charybdis looks to Trixie and says, did you manage to scavenge water while you were down there?
Oh yeah, I had water and all that. I've only been on the boat since it took off, so only a few hours, but
Are you thirsty?
No, thank you.
Very well.
I just feel awful. I'm really worried about my lady.
You said that she needed help with something that would make her go and find very impressive magics. What does she need help with?
Charybdis looks to Reverie and says, not here. We'll go back to one of our rooms first.
Right. Room, explanation, buffet. That order.
That's fine.
Brother, I recommend we commandeer yours. I know you've checked it thoroughly.
Colonel Harris nods.
And yeah, Charybdis will lead the party to Colonel Harris's room.
Does this include Winfrey and Maria?
I mean, she makes no deliberate attempt to collect them, but, they're kind of a motley crew, so I imagine the two of them could catch up fairly easily if they chose to.
Maria and Winfrey, do you do you go with?
Is my presence being requested specifically?
Not necessarily. They're just talking about... everyone was talking about what Trixie was implying with her story. So they were going to go discuss it further.
Actually, I will say, I do think Charybdis will send a message to Maria specifically requesting her presence, but does not do so with Winfrey. Basically, Charybdis messages Maria and says, "Again, at your earliest convenience, I'd like to have a conversation with you. Not related to what happened."
Huh. Then Maria probably would have tried to take Winfrey with her to
Really?
the room. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she'll go with.
Yeah, so the rooms, by the way, on the Siren Song, do look very nice. All of them have a queen bed, save for, like, children's room. And the carpeting is, like, the same sort of, like, maroon, almost pink color. And the walls have a sort of, like, diluted tint blue color to them. They're very, like, desaturated and calm. Every room has a window. There's like a vanity area, and then each of them have like a very nice bathroom. These are very nice rooms that everyone is staying in. Again, sort of keeping the sort of nautical mix with lavish aesthetic.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
When you arrive in Harris's room, he takes the initiative, steps in, locks it, and you hear like the banging of glass, some stuff being moved around, something like burning at some point. You just hear it, you don't smell it. And then he opens the door, clears his throat, and allows everyone inside.
Charybdis goes in first.
Yeah, Trixie kind of falls in the middle of everybody.
Having seen his discomfort when I get in the room, can I just like make a show of she reaches up to that small buckle that's on her armor, puts her hand on it and whispers a few words, and can I use my divine sense? Just for shits and giggles, if there's any celestials, fiends, or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
There are none.
There's one.
One.
You get a celestial sense from Talk.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so you all sort of fill into the room, and I'm guessing, Chrono Harris, you, like, close and lock it after everyone's in?
Yes, there are 2 regular locks and 4 slide locks, which seem to have been self-installed. And yeah, like a slightly paranoid old woman, he goes up each one and checks them, and then jiggles the door just to make sure they're locked. And he'll stay at the door.
Winfrey, noticing that there's nothing to do in here except for stand, is gonna pull out a stick of incense and start fucking with it. She's gonna like twirl it between her fingers and like just play around with it.
Reverie will start passing around the bottle of scotch. She doesn't drink any herself, but she does sort of pass it around.
Drinking contest. Let's go.
As
You'll lose.
As Charybdis gets past the scotch, she's going to use Prestidigitation to change it to taste like the daiquiri she had earlier, and then as she passes it away, she'll dispel the effect.
Yeah, so, Trixie sort of, like, looks between everyone, passes the bottle on when it gets around to her, because she said she didn't drink, and then she sort of,
So what, so my lady, again, she hired me 6 months ago. She doesn't give me too much information. I'm sort of just her helper. She says that she doesn't remember where she came from, but she says that she knows she has to find something. She said it was a place. She feels like she knows it. She says that she knows it in her soul, but she can't seem to recollect it. But my lady insists that she's from a land that I'm pretty sure doesn't exist.
Charybdis peeks up immediately at this information.
My lady says that she's from a far-off land called Rorendell. which, when I was a kitten, was basically told to me like it was a fabled story. She told me she doesn't know how she got to Kelmra, she doesn't know how to leave, she doesn't know anyone here, and that she doesn't know how to get back to her homeland. And I insisted that it doesn't exist. We found magic and doctors to try to replace her memory, but she can't remember. It's almost like the memories were totally removed. Like she can never get them back. And that's when we resorted to the wish spell, that if she can't herself get back the memories, who can help her find what she's looking for?
Which is a land that allegedly doesn't exist.
Yes. I read so many books, and I looked into it, and there's nothing indicating that Rarendelle ever existed, but she swears she's from there.
Charybdis looks over to Chrono Harris. Doesn't say anything, but makes eye contact with him.
Yes. Normally you'd expect one as grumpy as him to be immediately putting this off, but as Charybdis looks over, he has this intense stare toward Trixie.
And my lady sent me on this ship because, again, in the vision, we saw the lot of you. We saw the ocean air. All the images seemed to not be like a picture of something that was to happen, but like signs of what we needed to look for. The sky, the ocean, your faces. And she sent me to see if I could find you, and she told me that if you refused, that she would not be upset, and just that her journey would be much, much longer. But I could tell that she had heartbreak in her voice. I don't know how to help her.
Yeah.
What's up?
Can I make some kind of like lore check to see if I heard stories about this place?
Make me a history check.
Okay, so that is a 16.
So on a 16, Maria, you've definitely heard of Rarendelle before. But again, it's usually told in children's stories. It's like it's like a fabled place. It's like a fabled place, that exists for stories. It's like a magical land, and there's like, quote unquote kingdoms told about it, but none of them usually line up, because usually people made it up. There are some stories that Rarendelle disappeared, but the general consensus is that it's just a story, and like, an old bedtime story for children, that Rarendelle itself never actually existed. As if Rarendelle existed, it would literally be off of the coast of, like, Northreath, because that's where the storybooks placed it. But, it's not there.
Okay. Noted.
So it would be like us finding the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, it would be like people, in our world finding Atlantis. And finding, with people there.
How did your lady come into possession of a wish spell?
We met this traveling wizard. He's a very weird fellow.
Does he have...
What?
Does he have purple hair?
He was wearing a hood, but he didn't necessarily know the spell, because he was no more strong than any of you, but he had this, little bottle. And he told my lady to drink from it and said that he fought very hard to get it, but maybe she needed it. and it was like this golden drink, and when she took a drink of it, she was able to use it. He said that he found it in a dungeon. He's an adventurer like you.
Huh. Based off of the story, would I be able to tell what that golden liquid was?
Make me an Arcana check.
You got it. That's an 8.
Don't suppose Baba can make this check.
Wait, what? Repeat that? Sorry.
Could I make the Arcana check?
Yeah.
Oh. How long has it been since we entered the storehouse?
Maybe about 10 minutes.
Okay. Going to be a total of 27 Arcana.
Chrono Harris, you have heard of, potions, extremely rare potions that grant you the use, kind of like a spell scroll of one spell. These are very, very hard to get items. If you got it from a dungeon or adventuring or bought it, you were spending a lot of money or expending a lot of resources or dying to get something like it. The wish spell ones are incredibly rare. You've heard of people finding it like 1 or 2 times, and they usually wish for something stupid like, money or a new horse or a new house. You've mainly heard of people finding them in like dragon lairs. You've heard one time someone went into this like old fort that was overtaken by undead and found one that granted them like, for as long as they had to vial the ability to cast Fireball. They're very hard to get items, but, you do know that they exist.
Trixie,
Yes.
has your lady lied to you, or are you lying to us?
I would have no reason to lie. This would be a lot of trouble to go through. And I was there when my lady saw the vision. And I don't think she's lying. 'Cause again, we've gone to multiple people to try to resurface memories. She spent a lot of money, but nothing.
I believe that, at least. But nobody would give up a potion of wish for good fortune. It is completely asinine, let alone one as strong as me or anyone in this room. So, I will ask you again, did your lady lie to you, or are you lying to us?
I'm not lying to you. That's what she told me.
I think, brother, the girl is telling the truth.
Yes. I agree.
Again, she didn't tell me much about how she got it. She just told me who the person was. But I don't know if she bought it or if she paid him to go get it. She just told me that he gave it to her.
I see.
You said
Do you have anything else to tell us?
Apologies. You said before that your lady would reimburse us.
Yes.
Does she intend to meet with us in person then?
Only if you wanted to. Again, my lady did not want me to force your hands. She told me to tell you that if you wished to meet with her, that was of your own will and volition, and only that, since the lot of you looked like adventurers in her vision, that she would compensate you if you graced her with your presence. She's a very kind lady.
Brother, perhaps I'm going out on a limb here, but this sounds to me like it could be a trap.
It does, absolutely. But the bait is far too attractive.
I agree.
Where are we going to meet Lady Serena?
She told me when I got back to the mainland that she would be staying in Firefall.
I'm familiar.
it would be a bit of a trek afterwards, but, that's only if you wanted to. I have some things to do when I get back to Viron, but I can give you the necessities of what you would need to know to meet up with her.
Very well.
I will say, brother, if we pursue this, that most definitely means we will be in the company of these strangers for some time.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm as broken up about it as you are. You can assure that.
Cheers.
I think we're gonna have a great time.
Of course you do.
As much as we may have gotten off on the wrong foot, Charybdis looks to Winfrey specifically when she says this. I think there's something in it for all of us. As long as we keep our wits about us, but you don't strike me as the type to have any problem with that.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
No. Lady
Oh,
Reverie,
perfect.
I was not. Either way, as it so happens, Charybdis looks to Chrono Harris and hesitates for a second before continuing. This may be entwined with something I was already seeking. Perhaps this could work out.
Oh.
What are you guys doing this magical land?
More importantly, I understand my own motivations for such, but why would you strangers have interest in this? I can assume for some, looking at Lady Reverie, but not for others, looking at Maria. And he sort of keeps that stare onto Maria, expecting a response.
What exactly are you expecting me to say?
He's basically asking about your motivation, like why you would even take a remote interest in this.
Right, no, she would say that in character.
Oh. Yeah, silence. Maybe like a couple of blinks. It's like, oh no.
She's gonna stare at you for a few moments, and then she's gonna sigh, and then kind of like lift off her pirate hat and put it on the table. Well, your sister seems to want to talk to me about something, and seeing how she helped, or I would say more interrupted my performance a little bit earlier, I would say I want to know why she wants to talk to me. And second, I don't feel like I can leave you guys alone, because I feel like I'm leaving children unattended, besides Winifred here. Yeah, I don't think that would be responsible of me to leave you.
You're taking responsibility for a group of people you've met once?
No, I'm not taking responsibility. I think it would be funny. So, I want to see where this...
Chrono Harris says nothing and looks away.
Trixie just kind of looks around like,
We'll meet her. We'll be glad to meet her, actually.
Does anyone have a piece of paper and a pen?
Oh, I do. Hold on. I'm gonna pull a piece of parchment and a quill from my calligrapher's supplies kit, and then hand it to her.
Oh, thank you. So my lady told me that in Firefall she would be at...
she starts kind of scribbling on the corner of the paper while she's trying to think.
She said that she would be at...
she starts very heavy-handedly writing on the paper.
Cat's Whiskers Cafe and Dining. Yeah.
And then she looks around for whoever wants to take it.
Charybdis will take it.
That's where my lady said she would be. If anything else, if she's not there, then, I'm sorry if I wasted your time. But That's where she said that she would be met.
Trixie, I say this with the all due respect in the world, but considering the company you now keep, I hope for your sake she's there.
It will be. It's going to be a great time.
I appreciate it. Regardless, it's alright if you meet her and then decide to go your separate ways. All I know is that she has a long journey ahead of her, with or without me or anyone else. And I know that she is a nice and honest lady. I know that I'm small and squeaky, but I'm not dumb. I just also... I'm trying to take care of my own family. But after meeting my lady, she seemed almost like family. She's very kind and very, very generous.
Can I make an insight check? This is kind of fucked, but to see if Trixie might have been tampered with or brainwashed in some way to basically be forced to swear loyalty to this individual.
Yeah, make me actually an Arcana check.
Got it. Do I still have the thing?
Add your insight bonus.
Okay.
You do not have the thing.
Okay.
Chrono Harris will give you guidance if permitted, though.
What'd you get?
Would you permit it?
Sure.
Okay. You said I can add my insight bonus, but I have to also add my Arcana bonus?
Yeah, since
Or
this
in
is
this
also
case,
this is also
subtract.
like, since you're kind of doing like an insight thing, but in order to tell if someone is magically charmed, I would guess Arcana. So I'm telling you to add your insight because you're using your insight to tell if someone has magically been fucked with.
Okay.
Which is why I'm allowing this.
That's a 4 plus 3 plus an additional 3 for 10 minus 1 is 9.
Yeah, so you're looking at her, and like earlier when you tried, she seemed to be telling the truth, and she hasn't really said any new information. So, like, you don't really detect any magical presence on her, and you also don't think she's lying. Especially since since you all collectively checked insight on her the first time.
Charybdis looks to Trixie and kind of gets a distant expression for a second and says, "Would you mind if I checked for something?"
What do you mean?
Charybdis holds up a hand. Targeting Trixie, I'm going to cast Ray of Frost, but I'm going to stop the spell before it hits her. I'm just trying to gauge her reaction.
She goes, and backs up a bit.
Very well.
What was that for?
To see if you were possessed. If you were, you would have defended yourself.
Oh. Nope.
Well, I'm sold. What do the rest of you think?
To everyone's surprise, I was actually already on my way to Firefall. So even
That
if
is
she ends up
surprising.
not being there, it's not, it's just a bit of an annoyance, if anything.
Means you get good company on the way there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Exactly.
I definitely don't want to trouble you any longer. But if anything, I really appreciate you hearing me out.
If it's all the same to you, Trixie, I think one of us should keep an eye on you. And the remainder of our trip.
That's fine. Again, I didn't mean to scare anybody or make anyone upset. Me and my lady were trying to figure out a way to have all of this not go down horribly, but her vision didn't tell her how we were gonna meet. We just saw the lot of you. But I kinda messed it up.
Well, I think the wisest decision would be to entrust your care from here on out to my new bodyguard. Looking to Lady Reverie.
I was just thinking the same thing, and I put my arm around Trixie's shoulders. I say, you hear that? The boss lady just gave me an order, and I think that the first thing that we need to check to make sure there's no threats is the buffet.
Now that I can get behind. I'm famished.
I wouldn't mind something to eat other than apples.
I mean,
And
apples
chicken.
are delicious. That's fine.
So you all... Do all of you go make your way?
I'm gonna catch Maria on her way out.
You're gonna catch Maria, okay. So, So, like, everyone leaves, and then, like, you kind of stray behind and then get Maria's attention? Okay.
So, seems we finally have a moment. I'm sorry for... Well, if it seemed I was interrupting your performance earlier. Just trying to get your attention, that's all.
It's fine, I suppose. Why did you want my attention?
Because I think you might be somebody that I'm looking for. Are you familiar with the name Saurus?
I don't believe so.
Charybdis pulls out a piece of paper that is folded up. It says, because according to what she left me, she was familiar with you. Unfolds the piece of paper, and you see a rough but still pretty clear sketch of Maria on it.
Oh. Well, I mean, like I said before, I have performed, so maybe whoever that drew that sketch drew it from one of those.
Have you ever had a strange woman give you anything you couldn't explain?
I've had a lot of women give me things that I couldn't explain.
Charybdis just looks down, obviously slightly disheartened, and says, I see. Perhaps it's just a coincidence. Folds up the paper and pockets it. Sorry to have troubled you. And then leaves.
Oh, okay. Maria's gonna follow. Is there like a certain item you think she would have given me, or like?
I wish I had more information to give you. Truly, I did, but the circumstances of Saurus's absence are not fully understood even by myself or my brother.
Well, I do hang on to a lot of trinkets, so if we plan on traveling a while together, maybe you'll see it in my possessions and just let me know.
Perhaps, although I will admit this, and Charybdis kind of looks around and makes sure there's nobody overhearing before she kind of scratches the back of her neck and says, I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking for. I've been working with Colonel Harris to figure it out, but the clues I was left were, as I said, cryptic. She's been missing for some time now, Maria. I'm just trying to find her, that's all. And I think this lost land might be the key to it.
Oh my god, you guys are actually looking for this land, aren't you?
No, not the land, just my sister. Now, as for what Colonel Harris is looking for, you'd have to ask him, and frankly, there's no way you're getting an answer, but nonetheless.
Well, it certainly is interesting, and, well, if I could be any of service to you, well, I can't say I'll be there, but, you can ask. I can't guarantee it's going to be, a yes or something, but...
That's quite alright. I'm not sure why, but there's something about you. I trust you.
That's a bad idea. And then she's going to put on her pirate hat and then walk down the hallway.
And yeah, I think at that point we reconvene with the others.
Yeah, so, the, sort of, like, banquet area is, it's beyond the bar, but instead of taking a right where you would go to, like, where everyone sleeps, you take a left and go to an area sort of adjacent to the bar, where it's a lot bigger. There's more tables, the music is a little louder. There's not a bar here, but there's just, at the very end of this very long room, there are just rows and rows of buffet food on tables. You can smell all the food from the entrance. And there's, like, desserts, there's whole meals, there's, you know, like, these little, skewers that have, like, big hunks of meat on them sort of rolling around for people to just kind of cut off their share. You know, there's people constantly rotating out, like, old and new food. You know, it is constantly hot, constantly fresh, and there's, like, 4 long tables going down, in rows, for people to sit at. Of course, there's, like, individual chairs, so if you don't want to sit close to, like, another group of people, you can just kind of shimmy the chairs, away. But on the far right side of the room, there is this very kind of tight-knit, spiral staircase that goes up into a VIP sort of ramada with individual tables. It's a little more dim lit up there, but they have the same access to the food down below. There's just an area for, you know, the bastards that paid more. And, I'm assuming, Reverie, Winfrey, Chrono Harris, and Trixie, y'all already dug in, or did you wait?
Reverie would have... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say Reverie would have just followed Trixie. If she, like, ran to the food, then sure.
Winfrey at this point is kind of, I think, done being with the crowd until we depart, like, or not depart, rather, arrive. So she would have gotten her own food and sat separate, unless somebody really pestered her.
Oh, who would that be? Who would direct Trixie to come sit right by you so you don't eat alone?
Yeah, Trixie, like, piled on her plate, like, she's got so much food. A lot of it is meat. You know, meat, fish, and she, like, piled food on her plate, and she, like, can barely balance it, 'cause she is very small. By anyone's guess, she's, like, a kind of interesting subrace of Tabaxi. Because, you know, she has, like, a human face and, like, human hands, but then everything else is just white tiger. But she sits down, sitting across from Reverie with just this plate piled with food. And just kind of starts munching.
And yeah, I sit right next to Winfrey. I do take out the bottle, and I just put it in front of you as a peace offering. I say, I actually did buy that for you. I just wanted to make sure you weren't the type of person that was going to down the whole thing and pass out on the floor. You seem like you have a bit more control than that.
Well, you'd be right, but... Oh, is there something you need from me?
No, there's nothing I need from you. You're just fun company. Fun things happen around you. Since I have met you, I have found a person that was a stowaway. I became a stowaway for like a minute. And then I also entered into this like really weird vision quest thing. So clearly hanging around you is where all the interesting things are going to happen.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's why I like to go it alone then. Dragging other people into my messes usually results in them turning into a... Well, I'd rather not say.
Messes of their own?
I was gonna say a giant puddle of viscera and gore, but sure, yeah, let's go with that.
That sounds messy.
It is very messy. And if you don't want that to happen to you, I suggest that, after we figure out whether or not this thing is all real, you steer clear from me.
Is Charybdis
You
around
got it, darling.
when this conversation happened?
You'd probably come in at, like, the butt end of it.
Can we say that she heard the viscera part?
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, Winfrey. She's already clearly been in a few scraps of her own. Survived, if missing some parts. I think if something was going to turn her into viscera, it would have done it already.
Oh,
Actually, I
it's
think
just
something
taking
already
its
did.
time now, darling.
Probably, but I mean, isn't that true for all of us?
Some more than others.
That's true. You're a delight.
Winfrey was just glaring at Reverie, but now not only is she glaring, but her mouth is also agape.
Reverie will, seeing this, reach down to the
absolute-
cupcake on her plate and go, "Here comes the cruise liner," and just like hold the cupcake up to you.
I'll
Like,
turn you
going
into a
like, "What was
corpse
it
and
for?"
throw you off the side of the ship.
You don't like cupcakes? That's fine. There's pie as well.
Oh my god.
You seem like we're gonna have a ton of fun together. I can tell. Charybdis, please sit with us.
Oh, okay. Charybdis does so.
Charybdis, what is your opinion on cupcakes?
Charybdis, gets an excited look for just like a split second and then just... I think they're terribly messy. Not my preferred dessert of choice. A bit... gaunt. Gauche? Not sure of the word for it.
You're gonna have to try better than that, darling.
Better than what?
I saw your face light up at the mention of baked sweets.
Charybdis, at this point, crosses her arms and, like, leans back in the chair and says, "Oh, and I'm sure you know all about other people's business, despite guarding your own."
It's my job, lass.
Really? And yet you haven't specified exactly what that job is. Curious.
Well, that's because it's for me to know, and for you not to find out, unless you're willing to front over quite a lot of property.
Property of what
Something
kind?
about puddles, I think.
What the fuck?
I think she
Excuse me?
thatches roofs.
Right, yeah, I'm the greatest roofer that there ever existed on the whole planet.
Knew it. Called it.
I don't know about all of that, but you're clearly very talented. Yet, forgive me for saying so, but your build doesn't portray that of a knight. Perhaps... No. No, I can't quite figure you out yet. Haven't had quite the time, but... I think if I had more of it... perhaps I could glean something. Do you believe in fate, Winfrey?
Oh, I believe that fate is just telling us all sorts of bullshit all the time, and if we take a moment to listen to it, we might learn something.
Fascinating answer. And yet, not really much of an answer at all, is it?
It's an answer, alright. And I bet you right now, fate brought us together just to show us that it's a big fucking clown.
Well, then perhaps I can be useful to you as well. I have a habit of
Everyone
bending
is
fate.
useful.
Trixie is just sort of watching everyone have this conversation. She has a little bit of grease on her face. Like, she's just, like, chowing down. She has 2 drumsticks, one in each hand, and she's taking turns biting out of each one of them. Like, she's having a great time.
In Charybdis, you look down and you see that at the edge of your plate is a single, very well frosted cupcake.
Charybdis looks at it and then just kind of looks up at Reverie and just cocks an eyebrow and says, "Frankly, I'm not sure which of the two of you is more concerning. But I suppose I'll have plenty of time to find out."
Oh, definitely the puddle person. That was alarming.
I will say this. You're right about one thing. I have been known to enjoy a baked good every now and then. Charybdis unwraps the cupcake and then just kind of digs in like a small child.
Trixie pipes up,
You got a little something on right here.
and she, like, uses her thumb to, like, tap the corner of her lip.
Oh, and as do you. And then Charybdis will press the digitation, wiping both their faces clean.
Oh, sorry.
For what? I would do the same thing in your position. Can't imagine that awful, dark, kind of smelly place you were locked in was terribly pleasant.
I guess.
She, like, just continues to eat, like, trying not to really think about it.
I just want to go home.
Is fire in your home, then?
I'm actually from Highfriar.
I see. Quite a ways from home, then, aren't you? Very curious. But I won't pry further. Yet.
Yeah, I just really want to get home and check on my little boy. I haven't been home in quite some time.
Your little boy.
You've got a son?
I need to remind a lot of you that I am not a child.
I'm sorry, what?
No, she said before that she's a parent.
Well, she said she had a family, not a child.
Well, I
Family
guess
could be anything.
Big
Could be a
world
dog.
of difference that is in that.
you're right. I did not mention him. My son is at home in Highfriar.
Is that where your Lady Serena usually lives?
That's where I met her, definitely.
But she doesn't live there?
No. My lady wanders.
So that means that you wander as well, being her steward.
Yes. I don't get to see my son very often. She doesn't keep me from him. I worry about her. She never likes staying in one place at one time for very long. She says that she always feels like she needs to be searching. She says she feels like she's missing something.
Have you
Sounds like...
seen
You go ahead.
her in person?
Oh, yes. Many times.
I see. Forgive me, I've heard many tales of people unwittingly falling in line behind a mysterious sort of eldritch power they didn't truly understand.
Oh, no.
Happened a lot in the early days of my family, actually.
She's a very unique lady. Honestly, you'll know her when you see her.
See? I knew this trip would be exciting. Hey everyone, my name is Minnow. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 3 of RollBounds. New episodes are released every Monday on YouTube and Spotify. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at RollBoundPC for more updates, TTRPG content, and most of all, memes. Join us next time in episode 4 when the party lands in Viron and we figure out what Chronoheros has against playing cards. See you then!